There is a lot of paint brands out there, and some time ago I shared a list of my favorite paints. Then I got sent these. You're watching Witness My Minis, I'm Peter, and this is Wiley. And today we test new paints. So, full disclosure, I was sent this box by Meg and Big Child Creatives. I didn't promise anything in return, but just to try out the paint set per se and share my thoughts basically. And that's what I will be doing today in this video. I've already seen a lot of videos posted about these paints, and rather than just posting a hasty video and jumping on the bandwagon, I thought that I would take my time and really test them and just, have time to gather my thoughts. Let's start with looking at what they claim that these colors can do. The Iconic Base Set. This basic set includes 12 essential colors from the Ionic Smart Colors range. Featuring a unique formulation, Iconic simplifies the painting process for both miniature and model painters, while being fun and easy to use. Whether you're new to the hobby or an experienced painter, Ionic Smart Colors will enhance every project. With high covering power, a smooth matte finish, intense colors, and effortless blending. Ionic Smart Colors are easy to apply with both brush and airbrush. This unique formulation enables seamless mixing and the use of any technique. Each large capacity bottle features an airtight lid and a steel ball agitator, ensuring perfect consistency with every drop of paint. So let's start to talk about the bottles. They come in 20 milliliter dropper bottles, and compared to Citadel, which is 12 milliliters, and Kimera, that is 30, this equates to something in between. The bottles have the same kind of dimensions that a regular dropper bottle has, so that you can fit it in the, if you have any stands. If you've seen my video about the paints that I like and usually use, you know that I fancy Kimera. And since the set that I got from Ionic Smart Colors will be leaning a lot on mixing, I thought that I would compare the both basic sets in the first test. Kimera and Ionic Smart Colors. I want to see how well it covers over black and white and how it dries, so I prepare a big base with lines. On one side I will paint Kimera and on the other Ionic. The two sets are basically contains the same paints with some exceptions. Yellow, for instance. Kimera comes with 3 different yellow, cold, warm yellow, and yellow oxide. Ionic comes with yellow and ochre. For the sake of the test, I will go with the colors that match the best in tone. The greens, Kimera only comes with phthalo green, which has a blue undertone. Ionic comes with a more like green, if that makes sense. Then there is some extra tones that don't overlap. I will put them here on the screen so you can see them for yourselves. After giving each bottle a fair shake and putting them on the wet palette, I am immediately struck by how perfect and reliable the consistency of the Ionic paints is. Each droplet is the same each time. I think this is a first for me, to be honest. There's always some tone that sticks out and have a completely different consistency, but not with these ones. Every tone has the same creamy feel right out of the bottle. After slapping on some paint, we can see that the tones are really similar compared to one another. I do feel that the Ionic range has a slightly better coverage and did dry extremely matte. But with that said, compared to Kimera, they did lose some of the saturation and the vibrancy. By now I was just jonesing to try them out. I decided to do something kind of relaxing. Roman, he had this paint a PEZ competition. I paint the Gryffindor gang, just feeling my way around, not caring too much about anything, just trying stuff out and seeing how the paint behaves and how they feel. And this was so fun for sure. Painting this loose and fast always makes me think of how Roman paints and how he pushes out masterpiece after masterpiece. A paint that makes you paint like Roman Lapad. That's a tagline for Iconic, I think. And make sure to work fast. testing to wet blend them on the miniature, seeing how they would act when thinned down, and for this kind of test, I must say, I was very happy indeed. I had nothing to complain about. I also wanted to try and paint some more regular size mini. So I had this Skaven rat prepared, primed and just zenithal with white ink. I tried to be neat and thinning the paint down to make washes and glazes, doing some small wet blends here and there. And again, the paint covers extremely well with a single coat. And because of the limited set, I find myself mixing colors as I go on the palette. And it just feels right. If you haven't tried this, you have to. It's so much fun. And would you look at that red? It's so damn bright. At this point, I would say it looks exactly like Kimera's, but it does, as I said before, lose a little bit of the vibrancy when dried. For the last test, I wanted to try a little bit harder. I wanted to push myself and see how far I could push the vibrancy of this test on a bust. I start out with a rough sketch, starting to place the brightest point on the bust with pure white. And by now, I know the color have great coverage, but still the vibrancy will be an even greater with a white undercoat. If you want to see more of this, check out the video in the corner right now, where I painted vibrant alien squid skin. I want your eyes all on me. Don't tell me no lies. I always get mine. Don't play with me. So do you want it? Do you want it? Can you feel me? Working in the sketching manner, I really feel that the paint works with me and not against me. And at no time does it ever act differently to what I expect. And in the end, that's what we want from our paints, right? Something we can learn to use to be a tool and not like a crutch or something that works against us. A trusted weapon in our arsenal. And as you see here, I go bonkers with the colors on this one. And a lot of times I place them pure on the mini and then wet blend them on the spot with other tones to create the value sketch. Again, on the arms, I go over with white for the brightest parts since I want them to be yellow in the end. Give me a sign. When stars align, tell me it's time. And as you see here, I unfortunately forgot to put on the camera, so there is quite a big jump in progression. But basically what I did in the time between those clips were to paint in the hair, and then I worked with glazes to smoothen out the areas of the sketch. And the iconic paints glaze really well. So if you have a little bit of patience, you can really get those smooth transitions if you want them. I paint in some texture on the sleeves, adding more tiny texture and creating more interest overall. Yeah, and here you kind of have her. It's kind of the final result of just having a go with these paints and seeing how far I could push the vibrancy. What do you think? Does it hold up? A little note about airbrushing. Of course, I tried airbrushing them as well. Just thin them down with regular water, and yeah, I had no problem with it whatsoever. It's just regular paint, basically. Nothing special compared to other kind of paints. But if you want to know my favorite airbrush paints, let me know down in the comments and maybe I share a list in a future video. So that concludes all the tests that I did with these paints. What are my final thoughts? First of all, it's just paint. These tones are very similar to other paint brands that you might already have. And the big question, I guess, is, do they warrant a purchase? And only you can answer that, really. I mean, what do you struggle with your paint? I should mention that there is a lot of different sets out there, so it's only the basic set that would rely on the mixing parts that I did with painting with them. But there is like skin color sets and NMM sets, and yeah, you guessed like everything. They have a big range of sets, just like any other miniature painting brand. So it depends on what you struggle with and how you want a paint to be. To summarize about my feelings, I would say that they are very, very consistent. I really like how they just came out of the bottle. Every drop was the same consistency. You could really work with thicker paints, or you could just glaze them down, and they glazed really well. They cover extremely well, and if that is something that you look for in a color, then look no further. I mean, most of the paints, they covered the underlying layer in like one cover, and if you were to paint on two, there would be nothing showing through anymore. As I said before, they wet blend and glaze just as they should, and for some reason I can't really put my finger on it, but I really like the bottles. I mean, they're a little bit squishy, and the caps are good. Yeah, I really enjoy these, so that's a plus for myself. So, will I use these paints in the future? Of course I will. I mean, it's great paints. Will they replace my Kimera paints? I'm not sure. I mean, the Kimera red is still the Kimera red, and it dries a little bit more vibrant. But I mean, for the other colors, depending on what I'm looking for, I might just grab what's closest to me. And with these being so consistent, I might just place them a little bit closer. If you want to pick up a basic set or any of the other sets, I do have affiliate links down below for Big Child Creatives. There should also be a discount code down below. And using these links will give me and Wiley a small kickback without any extra cost to you. So with that said, thank you for watching this time and take care. Bye.